K7XJM broadcasting on 7.185 MHz. March 16th, 2026. Time is 0915 Mountain Standard. This is Price Cent, Flathead Valley, Montana. 5 months, 14 days since the exchange. I'm documenting what I'm seeing, what the instruments are showing, what it means for everyone listening. The radiation readings are wrong. They're all wrong. Let me explain. I've been monitoring atmospheric radiation levels since November 1st. Since the day after the strikes. 5 months of daily measurements. 5 months of tracking the fallout patterns. 5 months of watching the numbers slowly decline. They were declining. Past tense. Were. 48 hours ago, March 14th, the readings started climbing again. Not slowly. Not gradually. Accelerating. My primary detector. Geiger-Müller tube. Calibrated. Verified accurate. March 14th at 0600 showed 112 milliroentgens per hour. Background radiation. Elevated but stable. Expected for post-exchange environment. March 14th at 1800. 147 milliroentgens per hour. 35 milliroentgens increase in 12 hours. March 15th at 0600. 203 milliroentgens per hour. 56 milliroentgens increase overnight. March 15th at 1800. 281 milliroentgens per hour. 78 milliroentgens increase. This morning, March 16th at 0600. 394 milliroentgens per hour. Right now, 0900. 432 milliroentgens per hour. The radiation levels are climbing. Fast. Exponentially fast. This shouldn't be happening. The fallout from November should be decaying. Half-life of iodine, 131 is 8 days. Cesium, 137 is 30 years, but initial decay is rapid. By month 5, radiation levels should be dropping, not spiking. Something's wrong. Something's changed. Something's happening that I don't understand. I'm not the only one seeing this. I've been monitoring emergency frequencies, other ham operators, survivor groups, weather stations still functioning. Everyone's reporting the same thing. Denver, radiation climbing, 420 milliroentgens per hour. Salt Lake City, 390 milliroentgens per hour. Boise, 450 milliroentgens per hour. Billings, 512 milliroentgens per hour. All across the Mountain West. All across what we thought were safe zones. The radiation is increasing. The coastal cities are gone. We knew that. November 1st. The strikes. Every major population center. New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Seattle, Miami, Houston. All of them. Direct hits. We're in Montana. Flathead Valley. Northwest corner of the state. Population before the war. Maybe 2,000 people. No military targets. No strategic value. No reason to waste a warhead on us. We thought we were safe. We thought distance and mountains would protect us. We thought the fallout patterns would miss us. For 5 months, we were right. The initial fallout plumes tracked east, prevailing westerlies. Wind patterns. The jet stream carried the bulk of the radiation away from us. Toward the Midwest. Toward the plains. Toward the population centers that were already destroyed. We got fallout. Of course we did. You can't detonate thousands of warheads without contaminating the entire atmosphere. But it was manageable. Elevated background radiation. Stay inside during the worst days. Avoid rain. Don't drink from open water sources. Standard post-nuclear procedures. We survived. 216 people in Flathead Valley. Started with 2,000. Lost most in the first month. Starvation. Disease. Violence. Radiation sickness from the initial plumes. But 216 of us made it to month 2. To month 3. To month 4. We thought the worst was over. We thought we'd survived. We thought we could rebuild. Now the radiation is climbing. And I don't know why. My daughter Nora. She's 16 years old. She's alive. She's healthy. She's one of the 216. One of the ones who made it through the first 5 months. I need to keep her alive. That's all that matters now. Keep Nora alive. Keep the community alive. Keep broadcasting information so other survivors know what's happening. That's my job. That's what I do. Ham Radio Operator. K7XJM. I've been broadcasting since day 2. Since the emergency frequencies opened up, since survivors started looking for information, for coordination, for connection, I document conditions. I relay messages between survivor groups. I track the other stations that are still transmitting. I maintain the network, the fragile, failing network of human voices still speaking in the ruins. When the exchange happened, there were thousands of ham operators broadcasting. Emergency traffic, disaster coordination, survivor location reports. The frequencies were crowded, active, alive with voices. Now there are 43 stations still transmitting. 43 voices out of thousands. 43 operators who survived the strikes, survived the fallout, survived the first 5 months. Every week, more go silent. Equipment failure, power loss, death. Doesn't matter which. Silence is silence. I keep broadcasting because someone has to. Someone has to document what's happening. Someone has to warn the others. Someone has to maintain the network while it still exists. The radiation spike. I need to understand it. I need to figure out what's causing it. I need to know if it's temporary or permanent. I need to know if we can survive it. 432 milliroentgens per hour. That's 0.43 roentgens per hour. 10.3 roentgens per day. 310 roentgens per month at current rates. The lethal dose is 450 roentgens over a short period. At current accumulation rates, we'll hit lethal exposure in 6 weeks. Month and a half. That's if the rates stay constant. They're not staying constant. They're accelerating. I'm checking my instruments again. 3 separate detectors. Geiger-Müller tube, ionization chamber, scintillation counter, all showing the same readings. All calibrated. All verified. 437 milliroentgens per hour now. It climbed 5 milliroentgens in the last 15 minutes. This isn't measurement error. This isn't equipment malfunction. This is real. The radiation is increasing. Fast. And I don't know why. I'm switching to weather monitoring frequencies. Checking atmospheric data. Wind patterns. Pressure systems. Trying to understand what's changed. The jet stream. It's shifted. That's what the weather data shows. The polar jet stream. It's moved south. Significantly south. Further than normal seasonal variation. The jet stream normally sits at around 50 to 60 degrees north latitude in winter. It's showing at 42 degrees north now. That's 8 to 18 degrees further south than normal. Flathead Valley is at 48 degrees north. We're north of the current jet stream position. The wind patterns have reversed. The prevailing winds are now coming from the south, from the east, from the areas that took the heaviest fallout, the radiation we avoided for 5 months. It's coming back. The jet stream shifted, and now it's carrying all that accumulated fallout north. Into the mountains. Into the areas we thought were safe. The safe zones. They're not safe anymore. I need to broadcast this. I need to warn everyone. I need to make sure every survivor group knows what's happening. K7XJM to all stations. Emergency traffic. Priority. The jet stream has shifted south. Repeat. Jet stream shifted south to approximately 42 degrees north. Fallout patterns reversing. Previously safe northern zones now receiving accumulated southern fallout. Radiation levels increasing rapidly across Mountain West region. Current reading Flathead Valley, Montana, 440 milliroentgens per hour and climbing. Estimate 6 weeks to lethal accumulated exposure at current rates. All northern survivor groups advised to monitor radiation levels continuously and prepare for evacuation if viable alternatives exist. K7XJM clear. I'm listening for responses, waiting to see who copies. Who's still out there? Who's still monitoring? K9TB are in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho responds. Copy your traffic K7XJM, confirming similar readings. 380 milliroentgens per hour local. Climbing. No evacuation options available. Population sheltering in place. Request advice. K9TBR. I don't have advice. That's the problem. There's nowhere to go. The cities are destroyed. The coastal areas are contaminated. The southern states took direct hits or heavy fallout. The northern states were supposed to be the refuge. Were supposed to be the safe zones. Now the safe zones are contaminated too. K7XJM to K9TBR. No advice available. Shelter in place is only current option. Minimize time outdoors. Sealed structures. Filtered air if possible. Monitor levels continuously. That's all I have. K7XJM clear. Another voice. W7PLK in Missoula, Montana. K7XJM, this is W7PLK. Confirming your traffic. Radiation climbing here too. 530 milliroentgens per hour. We have 67 people. No shelter adequate for extended contamination. What are our options? W7PLK. The same question. What are our options? What can we do? How do we survive this? I don't know. I don't have answers. I just have measurements. Data. Documentation. Truth. The truth is we're dying. Slowly. The radiation that we avoided for 5 months found us. The wind patterns changed, and now we're breathing in 5 months of accumulated fallout. Cesium. Strontium. Plutonium isotopes. All the long-lived radionuclides that didn't decay yet. All concentrated. All coming north on the jet stream. K7XJM to W7PLK. No options available. Current atmospheric conditions make evacuation impossible. Any movement exposes population to higher radiation during transit. Shelter in place recommended. Sealed structures. Ration time outdoors. That's all. That's all there is. K7XJM clear. I'm documenting this. Recording everything. Someone needs to know what happened. Why the safe zones failed. Why the survivors in the mountains died months after the war ended. The war ended 5 months ago. November 1st, 2025. Thousands of nuclear weapons detonated in a matter of hours. Every nuclear power. Every stockpile. Complete exchange. Mutual assured destruction fully achieved. 3 billion dead in the first 48 hours. Another billion in the first month. Starvation. Disease. Radiation. Fallout. The survivors. We thought we were the lucky ones. We thought distance and geography and luck meant we'd rebuild. We'd survive. We'd continue. Now the radiation is climbing and there's nowhere left to go. Nora is inside right now. In our shelter. Basement level. Sealed as well as possible. She's reading. Studying. Trying to maintain some normalcy. Trying to pretend the world isn't ending around us. She doesn't know yet. About the readings. About the spike. About what it means. I need to tell her. I need to explain. I need to prepare her. But for what? For dying slowly from radiation? For watching everyone in the valley succumb to ARS over the next 6 weeks? For the end of everything? She's 16. She should be in school. Should be worrying about tests and friends and her future. Should be alive in a world that has future. Instead, she's in a basement shelter. In a contaminated valley. In a world that ended 5 months ago. And now even the shelter isn't enough. The detector is reading 445 milliroentgens per hour now. Climbed 8 milliroentgens in the last 20 minutes. At this rate, by tonight we'll be over 500. By tomorrow, 600. By next week, we'll be in the lethal range for extended exposure. The shelter will help. Dense materials, earth, concrete, reduces exposure. But we can't stay inside forever. We need food, water, supplies. We need to go outside. Every hour outside now is accumulating exposure. Every trip for water is a dose. Every supply run is radiation damage. Every moment breathing this air is inhaling radioactive particles. We survived 5 months. We made it through the worst of the initial fallout. We rebuilt some infrastructure, established community, found hope. Now the wind changed and it's over. That's what this is. The end. Not fast. Not clean. Slow death from accumulated radiation. Weeks of knowing we're dying. Watching the symptoms progress. Nausea. Fatigue. Hair loss. Bleeding. Organ failure. That's what's coming. That's what 450 milliroentgens per hour means. That's what the climbing readings promise. I'm still broadcasting. I'm still documenting. Because that's what I do. That's my purpose. That's all I have left. K7XJM, Price Zenth. Flathead Valley, Montana. 5 months, 14 days since the exchange. The safe zones aren't safe. The radiation is climbing. There's nowhere left to go. Someone needs to know. Someone needs to hear this. Someone needs to understand what happened to us. Even if that someone is just me, talking into the void, broadcasting to empty frequencies. Documenting the end. 449 milliroentgens per hour now. Still climbing. It's been 6 hours since I started broadcasting the radiation spike. 1,500 hours now. The readings haven't stopped climbing. Current level, 537 milliroentgens per hour. That's 0.537 roentgens per hour. 12.9 roentgens per day. I'm doing the math out loud, working through the exposure calculations, because someone needs to understand what these numbers mean. What they promise. Acute radiation syndrome. ARS. The medical term for radiation sickness. It happens when you receive a large dose in a short period. The body cells can't repair the damage fast enough, particularly the cells that divide rapidly. Bone marrow, intestinal lining, hair follicles, the doses that matter. 100 roentgens, temporary decrease in white blood cells, mostly recoverable. 200 roentgens, nausea and vomiting, severe decrease in blood cell production, possibly fatal without treatment. 450 roentgens, 50% mortality rate within 60 days. No treatment available now. No hospitals. No medical infrastructure. No blood transfusions. 450 roentgens is the lethal dose for half the population. LD50. Medical textbook term. Clinical. Detached. Doesn't convey what it means. What it looks like. What it feels like. I've seen ARS. First month after the war. People who were outside during the initial fallout. People who got caught in the plumes. People who didn't understand the danger fast enough. The progression is predictable. First stage, prodromal. Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. Starts hours after exposure. Lasts 1 to 2 days. Then latent phase. Feels better. False hope. The calm before. Lasts 1 to 3 weeks depending on dose. Then manifest illness. The real damage shows. Bone marrow failure. Infections. Bleeding. Intestinal damage. Lasts weeks. Then death or slow recovery if dose was low enough. At 450 roentgens, most people don't recover. They die. 4 to 6 weeks after exposure. Slowly. Painfully. Inevitably. Current accumulation rate, 12.9 roentgens per day. Time to 450 roentgens, 35 days. 5 weeks. That's assuming the rate stays constant. It's not staying constant. It's accelerating. 6 hours ago, the rate was 10.3 roentgens per day. Now it's 12.9. That's a 25% increase in 6 hours. If that acceleration continues, we hit lethal dose faster. 3 weeks. Maybe 4. I'm tracking it. Documenting the progression. Creating a spreadsheet. Date. Time. Radiation level. Accumulation rate. Estimated time to various dose thresholds. 100 roentgens. 8 days at current rate. That's when symptoms start. When people get sick. When they understand what's happening. 200 roentgens. 16 days. That's when it becomes serious. When survival becomes uncertain. 450 roentgens. 35 days. That's when half of us die. 800 roentgens. 62 days. That's when everyone dies. Universally lethal dose. 2 months. We have 2 months before everyone in Flathead Valley is dead. 216 people. Gone. Because the wind changed. Because the jet stream shifted. Because the fallout we avoided found us. Nora knows now. I told her. Showed her the readings. Explained what they mean. She's 16. She understood. She didn't cry. Didn't panic. Just nodded. Asked what we do now. I didn't have an answer. What do you do when you're dying? When everyone around you is dying? When there's nowhere to go and nothing to do about it? You keep living. Day by day. Hour by hour. Until you can't anymore. That's what I told her. We keep living. We keep broadcasting. We keep documenting. We stay inside as much as possible. We minimize exposure. We try to make it as long as we can. She asked how long I thought we had. How long before symptoms start? How long before we get sick? I told her the truth. Maybe 2 weeks. Maybe 3. Depends on how much time we spend outside. How much contaminated air we breathe. How fast the radiation accumulates in our bodies. She asked if it would hurt. If dying from radiation sickness hurts. Elite. I said no. I said it would be like falling asleep. Peaceful. Gradual. The truth is yes. It hurts. The nausea. The vomiting. The internal bleeding. The infections, the organ failure. It all hurts. And there's no medicine, no morphine, no pain management, nothing to make it easier. But she's 16. She doesn't need to know that yet. She'll find out soon enough. When the symptoms start, when the bleeding begins, when she watches the other survivors die around her. I'm monitoring the other stations, listening to the emergency traffic. Everyone reporting the same thing. Radiation climbing. No evacuation options. Population sheltering in place. Waiting. K9TB are in Coeur d'Alene. Station went silent 2 hours ago. Mid-transmission. Just stopped. I've been calling. No response. 43 stations still broadcasting this morning. 42 now. W7PLK in Missoula. Still transmitting. Reporting 712 milliroentgens per hour. Higher than us. Further east. Closer to the fallout source. They estimate 1 week to manifest illness. 67 people. They're preparing. Inventorying supplies. Writing final messages. Making peace. K7 RNB in Kalispell. 20 miles south of us. 590 milliroentgens per hour. 93 people. They're discussing options. Some want to evacuate south. Try to outrun the fallout. Others say that's suicide. Exposure during transit. Moving just accelerates death. They're arguing about it on frequency. I'm listening. The debate. Stay or go. Die here or die trying to leave. Both options end the same way. Just different timelines. The ones who want to leave say at least they'll be trying. At least they'll be doing something. At least they won't just wait for death. The ones who want to stay say exposing yourself to open air travel is immediately lethal. Say movement without adequate shielding guarantees faster accumulation. Say staying in shelter maximizes survival time. Both are right. Both are wrong. Doesn't matter. Everyone dies either way. The transmission ends without resolution. The station signs off. Still no decision. Still arguing. Still hoping there's a right answer. There isn't. That's what I want to tell them. There's no right answer. There's no clever solution. There's no way out. The fallout reached us. We're contaminated. We're dying. All that's left is how we spend the time remaining. I don't transmit that. What's the point? They'll figure it out. Everyone figures it out eventually. I'm calculating survival probabilities for different scenarios. Because that's what I do. Numbers. Data. Analysis. Trying to find patterns in chaos. Trying to impose order on catastrophe. Scenario 1. Remain in shelter. Minimize outdoor exposure. Current radiation level 537 milliroentgens per hour. Shelter provides reduction factor of approximately 10. 53.7 milliroentgens per hour inside. 1.3 roentgens per day. 348 days to 450 roentgens lethal dose. Almost a year, but that assumes we never go outside. Never get water. Never get food. Never maintain equipment. Not viable. We have to go outside. Say 2 hours per day for necessary activities. 2 hours at 537 milliroentgens per hour. 1.07 roentgens per day from outdoor exposure. Add 1.3 roentgens per day from indoor exposure. Total 2.37 roentgens per day. 190 days to lethal dose. 6 months. That's if the radiation levels stay constant. They're not staying constant. They're climbing. Recalculate with 25% weekly increase. Time to lethal dose decreases to 112 days. 3.7 months. But that assumes ARS is the only threat. It's not. Starvation. Disease. Infrastructure failure. Violence. All those threats still exist. All those threats will accelerate as people get sick, as order breaks down, as desperation increases. Realistic survival time estimate. 6 to 8 weeks. 2 months maximum. For most people, some will die faster. Some might last longer. But the median, the average, 2 months. Scenario 2. Evacuate. Attempt to reach lower radiation area. Current models show southern fallout plume extending to approximately 35 degrees north latitude. Northern edge of plume somewhere around 40 degrees north. We're at 48 degrees north. We'd need to travel north. Into Canada. Alaska maybe. Distance to Canadian border. 70 miles. Distance to Alaska. 1,500 miles. No vehículos. No fuel. Travel on foot. Exposed to open-air radiation entire time. Walking speed with supplies. 2 miles per hour. 35 hours to reach Canadian border. 35 hours at 537 milliroentgens per hour minimum. Higher in open terrain. 18.8 roentgens during transit. Plus continuing exposure after arrival. Plus unknown radiation levels at destination. Maybe better. Maybe worse. No data. Survival probability of evacuation. Low. Maybe 20% reach destination. Of those, maybe 50% find lower radiation environment. Overall success rate, 10%. 90% mortality. Scenario 3. Do nothing. Continue normal activities. Don't change behavior. Don't seek shelter. Don't minimize exposure. Accept death. Make no effort to extend survival. Time to lethal dose. Approximately 4 weeks. 1 month. Fastest timeline. But also ends suffering soonest. No prolonged illness. No false hope. No watching everyone around you die before you do. Some people will choose this. I know they will. I've heard it in the transmissions. The resignation. The acceptance. The understanding that fighting just extends suffering without changing outcome. I won't choose it. Not yet. Not while Nora's alive. Not while there's still people to warn. Still information to document. Still broadcasts to make. But I understand it. The temptation. The logic. The mercy of it. Quick death versus slow death. Both in the same place. One just hurts less. The radiation detector. 563 milliroentgens per hour now. Climbed 26 milliroentgens in the last hour. The acceleration is increasing. The rate of increase is increasing. At this pace, by midnight tonight will be over 700 milliroentgens per hour. By tomorrow night, over 1,000. By next week, the levels will be immediately lethal. No protection sufficient. Just death. Maybe evacuation is the answer after all. Maybe trying is better than waiting. Maybe dying while moving north is better than dying in a basement shelter. I don't know. I don't have answers. I just have measurements, calculations, probabilities. None of them good. None of them hopeful. All of them ending in death. K7XJM to all stations. Radiation update. Current level Flathead Valley, Montana. 563 milliroentgens per hour. Acceleration increasing. Estimate 12 to 14 days to manifestly lethal atmospheric conditions. Recommend all survivor groups make final preparations. Document current status. Record final messages. Prepare for cessation of operations. K7XJM clear. Cessation of operations. That's the technical term. The clinical way to say everyone dies. Everyone stops broadcasting. Everyone goes silent. 42 stations this morning. How many tomorrow? How many next week? How many will still be transmitting when I go silent? 0. Eventually 0. All the voices stop. All the frequencies go quiet. All the survivors die. That's what these numbers promise. That's what the calculations show. That's what the radiation spike means. The safe zones failed. The refuge areas are contaminated. The last survivors are dying, and I'm documenting it, broadcasting it, recording it, because someone needs to know. Someone needs to understand what happened, why the last communities failed, why humanity didn't survive. Even if that someone never exists, even if no one ever hears these recordings, even if the broadcasts go into void forever, at least the truth was spoken. At least someone tried to document it. At least the end was witnessed. K7XJM, Price Zenth. Flathead Valley, Montana. 5 months, 14 days since the exchange. The calculations are complete. The numbers don't lie. We have weeks, maybe a month. Then everyone here is dead. The safe zones weren't safe. The refuge became a trap. The survivors survived just long enough to die slowly instead of quickly. That's the truth. That's what the measurements show. That's all I have to broadcast. 568 milliroentgens per hour now. Still climbing. Day 3 of the radiation spike. March 18th. 2100 hours. 9 p.m. Current reading. 1,247 milliroentgens per hour. 1.2 roentgens per hour. 29 roentgens per day. Time to lethal dose. 16 days at current accumulation rate. 2 weeks. The community meeting started an hour ago. Above ground, municipal building. What's left of it? 216 people. Everyone who's still alive in Flathead Valley. Everyone who survived 5 months just to die in the next 2 weeks. I'm monitoring from my station, broadcasting the meeting, letting other survivor groups hear this, letting them know what we're deciding, how we're handling it, what the end looks like when it comes. Mayor Donovan is speaking. He's not really mayor anymore. No government, no authority, no elections, but he was mayor before. People still listen to him, still defer to his organization, still need someone to coordinate, someone to lead. Even when leading means coordinating death. We need to discuss options, he's saying. His voice is steady, controlled, professional, like this is a normal town meeting, like we're discussing zoning ordinances instead of how to die. The radiation levels are untenable. We can't survive here. We need to decide collectively what we do. Someone shouts from the back. Can't identify voice over the radio relay. What options? We're dead. The radiation killed us. We just haven't stopped breathing yet. Murmurs of agreement. The crowd knows. They've seen the measurements. They've done the math. They understand what 1,247 milliroentgens per hour means. Mayor Donovan dispans. I understand the situation. We all understand. But we still have choices about how we spend the time remaining. That's what we're here to discuss. Another voice. Female. Sounds like Helena Whitmore. Doctor before the war. Medical coordinator after. The symptoms will start in approximately 10 days. Nausea first. Vomiting. Fatigue. Then the latent phase. Feel better temporarily. False recovery. Then manifest illness. 2 to 3 weeks after that, bleeding. Infections. Organ failure. Death. Silence. Everyone knows this already. But hearing it stated clinically, hearing the timeline laid out, makes it real, makes it immediate, makes it unavoidable. A third voice. Younger. Could be Silas Beaumont. 20s. Survived with his wife and infant son. So what are you saying? We just wait. We just sit here and die. Mayor Donovan. I'm saying we decide together. Option 1, we stay. We shelter as much as possible. We minimize exposure. We extend survival as long as we can. Maybe the radiation levels stabilize. Maybe the jet stream shifts back. Maybe we get lucky. Helena Whitmore. The radiation levels won't stabilize. The jet stream won't shift back. Not in time. The atmospheric models show continued southern flow for months. We won't get lucky. Staying means dying here. Slowly. Painfully. Watching each other succumb one by one. Mayor Donovan. Option 2. We evacuate north. Try to reach Canada. Try to find lower radiation zones. It's risky. High exposure during transit. Unknown conditions at destination. But at least we're trying. At least we're acting. Someone else. Older voice. Could be Vernon Lancaster. Farmer. 60-something. Evacuate how? We have no vehicles. No fuel. We'd be walking. 70 miles to the border minimum. 3 days minimum in open air at these radiation levels. That's 72 Roentgens. Plus whatever we've already accumulated. Plus whatever we get after arrival. We'd be dead before we made it. Mayor Donovan. Some of us might make it. The younger ones. The healthier ones. Some chance is better than no chance. Silas Beaumont. And the children? My son is 6 months old. You want me to carry him 70 miles through contaminated territory? He won't survive. None of the children will. Helena Whitmore. None of the children will survive here either. At least evacuation gives them a chance. Small. Maybe 10%. But that's 10% more than staying. Another voice. Can't identify. What about the elderly? The sick? The ones who can't walk 70 miles? We just leave them. Mayor Donovan. We'd have to make choices. Anyone who can't travel stays. We leave them supplies. Make them comfortable. But we can't carry everyone. The group that evacuates needs to move fast. Needs to minimize exposure time. Vernon Lancaster. You're talking about abandoning people. Leaving them to die alone while we try to save ourselves. Mayor Donovan. I'm talking about saving who we can. That's all we can do now. Save who we can. Silence again. Longer this time. The weight of it. The choice. Who lives? Who dies? Who gets abandoned? Who gets a chance? Helena Whitmore breaks it. There's a third option. We're not discussing it, but we should. Medical intervention. Controlled end. For those who don't want to wait. For those who don't want to experience the full progression of ARS. I have medications. Limited supply. But enough for those who choose. The crowd noise increases. Shocked voices. Angry voices. Some agreeing. Some objecting. The taboo spoken aloud. Euthanasia. Suicide. Mercy. Murder. Depends on perspective. Depends on desperation. That's not something we can organize collectively. That's individual choice. Personal decision. We can't. Helena Whitmore interrupts. I'm not asking for collective decision. I'm informing people of option. Those who want to avoid suffering can. Those who want to try evacuation can. Those who want to shelter and wait can. Choice. That's all we have left. Let people choose how they die since they can't choose whether they die. Silas Beaumont. This is insane. We're talking about killing ourselves. About giving up. About murdering our own people. There has to be another way. There has to be. Vernon Lancaster. There isn't. That's what you're not accepting. There is no other way. The radiation killed us. We're just deciding how long we suffer before we acknowledge it. More arguing. More voices. The meeting deteriorating. Order breaking down. Fear and desperation and anger taking over. The professional facades crumbling. The reality setting in. I'm listening to it. Broadcasting it. Letting other communities hear what 216 people sound like when they're told they're dying. When they're forced to choose between bad options and worse options. When civilization reaches its absolute end. Nora is next to me. Listening too. She's quiet. Not speaking. Just absorbing. Understanding. Her childhood ended 5 months ago when the bombs fell. Now even survival is ending. Now even hope is gone. She asks me quietly. Not on the radio. Just to me. What are we going to do, Dad? I don't answer immediately. What do I tell her? Stay and die slowly? Evacuate and die faster? Take Helena's medications and die cleanly? All options lead to death. All choices end the same way. I don't know, I finally say. What do you want to do? She thinks. 16 years old. Asked to choose how she dies. Asked to decide if she wants to try living or stop trying. Asked to be an adult when she should still be a child. I want to keep trying, she says. Even if it doesn't work. Even if we die anyway. I want to try. Is that stupid? No, I tell her. That's not stupid. That's brave. Will you come with me? If we evacuate, will you try too? I look at the radio equipment. The broadcasting station. The network I've maintained for 5 months. The documentation I've been creating. The record I've been keeping. If I evacuate, I abandon the station. I stop broadcasting. You go silent. The network loses another node. Another voice. Another witness. But if I stay, Nora evacuates alone. Or doesn't evacuate. Stays with me. Dies with me. 16 years old. Dead in a basement shelter because her father chose documentation over survival. Yes, I say. I'll come with you. We'll try. She hugs me. Relief in her grip. Not hope. Just relief that she won't be alone. That her father will die with her instead of before her. That they'll try together even though trying is probably futile. The meeting is breaking up. No consensus. No collective decision. Everyone choosing individually. Some staying. Some evacuating. Some seeking Helena's medications. The community fracturing into groups. Survival strategies. Death strategies. Last choices. Mayor Donovan is trying to organize. Those evacuating meet tomorrow at dawn. Municipal building. Bring minimum supplies. Light loads. Fast movement. Will travel as group. Strength in numbers. Those staying, the shelter supplies are communal. Take what you need. Those seeking medical assistance, see Dr. Whitmore privately. The crowd disperses. Footsteps. Voices fading. The meeting over. The decisions made. Individually, if not collectively. 216 people. Now splitting into groups. Evacuators. Remainers. Enders. All dying. Just different timelines. Different methods. Different choices about suffering. I'm back on the radio now. Broadcasting to the network. K7XJM to all stations. Community meeting concluded. No collective decision reached. Population splitting into 3 groups. Evacuation north attempted by approximately 60%. Shelter in place chosen by 30%. Medical intervention chosen by 10%. Departure scheduled tomorrow dawn. Final broadcast from this station likely within 24 hours. K7XJM. Responses coming. Other stations. Other communities. Other survivors hearing our choices. Making their own. W7PLK in Missoula. Copy your traffic K7XJM. Similar discussions here. Population divided. Some evacuating. Most staying. Estimate 3 days until manifest symptoms. 5 days until first deaths. Thanks for documentation. Good luck. W7PLK clear. K7RNB in Kalispell. K7XJM. We're attempting evacuation tomorrow also. 40 people. Heading north. Maybe we'll cross paths. Maybe we'll make it. Probably we won't. But trying beats waiting. K7RNB clear. Another station. K4XTM in Wyoming. Way south of us. K7XJM. Radiation here reached 900 milliroentgens 2 days ago. We already have symptoms. Nausea. Vomiting. 12 people left. Started with 40. Everyone's sick. Don't think we have long. Your broadcasts helped. Knowing others were out there helped. Thank you. K4XTM. I respond. K7XJM to K4XTM. Copy your traffic. Sorry for your situation. Thanks for maintaining network. You're not alone. Others are listening. Your voice matters. K7XJM clear. Silence from K4XTM. They heard me. Maybe. Or maybe they're already too sick. Maybe that was their last transmission. Maybe I just heard someone die in real time. 42 stations this morning. How many now? 38? 35? The network shrinking. The voices going silent. The end approaching. I'm preparing for evacuation. Packing supplies. Minimum load, like Mayor Donovan said. Food. Water. Basic medical supplies. Radiation detector. Handheld radio. Not the full station. Can't carry all the equipment. Too heavy. Too bulky. Too much exposure time trying to transport it. I'm bringing the handheld. VHF transceiver. Limited range but portable. Solar panel for recharging. I can still broadcast. Not the same reach. Not the same power. But I can still document. Still maintain network. Still record what happens during evacuation. Until the batteries die. Or the radiation kills the electronics. Or I'm too sick to operate it. Or I'm dead. Whichever comes first. Probably the last one. Probably dead. Probably within 2 weeks. But Nora wants to try. So I'll try. I'll evacuate north. I'll walk 70 miles through contaminated air. I'll accumulate Roentgens with every step. I'll expose myself to levels that guarantee death. I'll do it because my daughter asked me to. Because trying together is better than dying alone. Because hope is irrational but necessary. The radiation detector. 1,312 milliroentgens per hour now. 65 milliroentgens increase in the last hour. The acceleration hasn't stopped. The levels keep climbing. By tomorrow morning, we'll be evacuating into 1,400 milliroentgens per hour minimum. Maybe 1,500. Maybe higher. 3 days travel at 1,500 milliroentgens per hour. 72 hours. 108 roentgens. Plus whatever we've already accumulated. Plus continuing exposure after arrival. We'll hit 200 roentgens during transit. Severe ARS range. 50% mortality, even with medical treatment. 100% mortality without. We won't make it. The math says we won't make it. The radiation says we won't make it. The physics says we won't make it. But we'll try. Because Nora asked. Because trying is better than waiting. Because dying while moving beats dying while stationary. That's what I tell myself. That's the lie I believe. The hope I cling to. The irrationality that makes evacuation possible. K7XJM, Price Zenth. Flathead Valley, Montana. March 18th, 2100 hours. 5 months, 17 days since the exchange. Tomorrow at dawn, 60% of this community evacuates north. Walks 70 miles into Canada. Tries to find safety in a world where safety doesn't exist anymore. The rest stay. Shelter in place. Die Sloa. or seek Helena's medications. Die fasta, die cleanly, die on their own terms. 216 people. All dying. Just choosing how. Choosing speed. Choosing suffering level. Choosing who they die with. That's all that's left. Not survival. Not hope. Not future. Just choice. How do you want to die? Fast or slow? Alone or together? Fighting or accepting? We choose fighting. We choose together. We choose trying even when trying is futile. Tomorrow I abandon this station. Tomorrow the broadcasts end. Tomorrow K7XJM goes silent. Adds to the count. Adds to the failing network. Adds to the extinction. But tonight I'm still here. Still broadcasting. Still documenting. Still witnessing. 1,326 milliroentgens per hour now. Still climbing. Tomorrow we walk into it. Into the contamination. Into the radiation. Into death. Because my daughter asked me to. Because trying matters even when it fails. Because hope is the last thing that dies. Even when everything else is already dead. K7XJM. Final broadcast from this station. March 18th, 2026. The safe zones failed. The refuge became a trap. The survivors chose how to die. Some of us chose to die trying. That's all. That's the end. That's the last transmission from Flathead Valley. Tomorrow we're gone. Tonight we're still here. 1,331 milliroentgens per hour. Still climbing. Day 11. March 26th. 1300 hours. 1 p.m. This is K7XJM Mobile. Price Cent. Somewhere in southern British Columbia. Maybe. Hard to tell. No landmarks. No signs. No maps. Just walking north. Still walking north. Still trying. The handheld radio works. Battery at 40%. Solar panel keeps it charged. Barely. Overcast skies. Low light. Slow charging. But it works. I'm still broadcasting. Still documenting. Still recording what happens when you walk 70 miles through lethal radiation. We left Flathead Valley 8 days ago. March 18th at dawn. 132 people. 61% of the community. The ones who chose trying. The ones who chose fighting. The ones who believed maybe. Just maybe. There was somewhere safer north. We walked. Followed Highway 93 north. Into Eureka. Through the Tobacco Valley. Crossed the border at noon day 1. Canadian border. Unmanned. Unguarded. No border patrol. Just a line on a map that doesn't matter anymore. Just territory in a world without countries. The radiation level stayed high. 1,500 milliroentgens per hour at departure. 1,600 by the border. 1,700 by nightfall day 1. We walked 12 hours that first day. Accumulated 20.4 roentgens. 132 people exposed. Everyone accumulating dose. Everyone getting sicker. Symptoms started day 4. Just like Helena predicted. Nausea first. Vomiting. People dropping out of line to be sick. Dry heaves. Nothing left in their stomachs, but they kept retching. The prodromal phase. Early radiation sickness. The warning. The promise of worse to come. Day 5, 30 people turned back. Too sick. Too weak. Too scared. They headed south. Back to Flathead Valley. Back to the shelters. Back to die in familiar territory instead of foreign wilderness. I don't know if they made it. Probably not. Probably collapsed somewhere on Highway 93. Probably died in the road. Probably still there. 102 people continued north. Including me. Including Nora. Both of us sick, but still moving. Both of us vomiting, but still walking. Both of us accumulating roentgens, but still trying. Mayor Donovan collapsed day 6. Heart attack maybe. Or radiation damage to cardiac tissue. Or stress. Or just giving up. He died on the side of the road. We buried him shallow. No time for proper grave. No strength for digging. Covered him with rocks. Marked the spot. Kept walking. Helena Whitmore lasted until day 7. Radiation sickness plus exhaustion plus age. She was 63. Too old for forced march through contaminated territory. She knew it. She kept walking anyway. Kept helping the sick. Kept coordinating medical care with no medicine and no equipment. Kept being a doctor until she couldn't stand anymore. Then she sat down. Told us to keep going. Told us she'd rest and catch up. We knew she wouldn't. We kept walking. Day 8, the group split. 47 people wanted to continue north. 55 wanted to stop, find shelter, wait out the radiation, hope the levels decreased, hope the jet stream shifted, hope for rescue, hope for miracle. No argument this time. Everyone too tired, too sick, too close to death. The group just separated. Quiet, civil, goodbyes exchanged. Good luck wished. Then divergence. 47 north. 55 stopped. I went north. Nora went north. We chose continuing. We chose trying. We chose dying while moving instead of dying while stationary. The 47. We walked. Day 9. Day 10. Today, day 11. Still walking. But slower. Weaker. Sicker. Fewer. This morning we were 31 people. Just counted. 31 left from 132. 101 dead or dropped out. 76% casualty rate. 8 days of walking. And we still don't know if we're in lower radiation. The handheld detector. Current reading, 1,873 milliroentgens per hour. Higher than departure. Higher than yesterday. Higher than every day we've been walking. The fallout moved north with us. Or we didn't move north fast enough. Or the contamination is everywhere. Or there are no safe zones left. Or we're dying for nothing. I don't tell the others. About the readings. About the levels. About the futility. They're still walking. Still trying. Still hoping. Let them hope. Let them believe we're close. Let them die believing it mattered. Nora knows. She reads the detector. She understands the numbers. She doesn't say anything. Just keeps walking. Just keeps trying. Just keeps believing effort matters, even when outcome is predetermined. We're in the latent phase now. The false recovery. The symptoms eased yesterday. The nausea stopped. The vomiting ceased. Everyone feels better. Everyone thinks they're recovering. Everyone believes they're going to make it. They're not. This is the calm. This is the pause. This is the body gathering resources for final collapse. In 3 days, maybe 4, the manifest illness begins. Then the bleeding, the infections, the organ failure, then death. But today they feel better. Today they walk easier. Today they believe. So I don't correct them. I don't show them the projections. I don't explain the timeline. I let them have today. Let them have hope for a few more hours. Tomorrow they'll be too sick to walk. Tomorrow the truth becomes obvious. Tomorrow hope dies with the body. I'm broadcasting all of this. Transmitting on emergency frequencies. Letting other survivors hear. Letting them know what evacuation looks like. What walking through lethal radiation does. What happens when you try to outrun fallout that moves faster than you can walk. No responses. I've been calling for 3 days. No stations reply. No voices answer. Either the radiation killed the stations, or the operators, or my signal doesn't reach anymore, or there's no one left to listen. 42 stations 8 days ago. 38 when I left. How many now? 20? 10? 0? The network collapsing. The voices silencing. The end completing. But I keep broadcasting. Keep transmitting. Keep documenting. Because that's what I do. Because someone needs to record this. Because the truth matters even when no one hears it. K7XJM mobile to any station. March 26th, 1300 hours. Evacuation group status report. 31 people remaining from 132. 8 days travel. Current radiation reading, 1,873 milliroentgens per hour. Accumulated dose estimated 240 roentgens per person. Manifest illness expected within 72 hours. Survival probability assessed as 0. Will continue broadcasting as long as possible. K7XJ and mobile clear. Silence. Empty frequency. No response. Just my voice. Just my transmission. Just documentation going into void. Nora is next to me. Walking. Silent. Conserving energy. The latent phase won't last. Tomorrow she'll be too weak to walk. Tomorrow I'll be carrying her. Or leaving her. Or dying beside her. Tomorrow the manifest illness begins, and everyone understands we failed. But today we're still walking. Still moving north. Still trying. Still hoping despite evidence. Still believing despite mathematics. Still human despite radiation. That's what we are. Still human. Still fighting. Still refusing to accept inevitability, even when inevitability is certain. Still choosing effort over surrender. Still trying even when trying is futile. The others are stopping. Rest break. Everyone exhausted. Everyone weak. Everyone in false recovery, believing they need rest to heal. Not understanding there is no healing. Not understanding rest just delays final collapse by hours. Not understanding they're already dead. I'm resting too. Sitting. Broadcasting. Recording. Documenting the end. The death march. The last attempt. The final human action. Walking north into oblivion. Fighting death with footsteps. Trying to outrun physics. Vernon Lancaster is still with us. Farmer. 60-something. Survivor. He sits next to me. Breathing hard. Exhausted. Dying. How much further? He asks. Don't know, I answer. Another 50 miles maybe. To Alaska. To somewhere that might be safer. 50 miles. 3 more days. He laughs. Bitter. Hollow. We don't have 3 days. You know that. I know that. Everyone knows that. Maybe we do. Maybe the latent phase lasts longer. Maybe we recover. You don't believe that? No. I don't. So why keep walking? Why not stop here? Why not just end it cleanly while we still feel okay? Because Nora wants to try. Because trying matters to her. Because I can't tell my daughter we're giving up. Vernon nods. Understands. Yeah, I guess that's reason enough. We sit. Rest. Breathe contaminated air. Accumulate Roentgens with every breath. Be slowly. Together. Trying. Silas Beaumont approaches. His infant son in his arms. 6 months old. Wrapped in blankets. Too quiet. Too still. Silas is crying. Silent tears. Grief. Loss. Inevitability. He's gone, Silas says. My son. He died an hour ago. Just. Stopped breathing. Just stopped. I don't say anything. What is there to say? I'm sorry. It's not your fault. He's at peace. All lies. All meaningless. All inadequate against the weight of dead infant in father's arms. I need to bury him, Silas says. I can't carry him anymore. I need to. He needs to rest. Vernon stands. I'll help. We'll dig proper. We'll mark it. He'll be remembered. They walk off. Find soft ground. Start digging. Shallow grave for infant who survived nuclear war just to die of radiation in Canadian wilderness. Born into apocalypse. Dead in post-apocalypse. 6 months of life. Never knew peace. Never knew safety. Never knew world before. Nora watches them dig. That could be me tomorrow, she says. Quiet. Matter of fact. 16 years old. Stating probability of her own death. Calculating timeline. Understanding mathematics. Maybe not, I say. Lying. Hoping. Trying to believe my own words. The readings are higher than when we left. You check them every hour. I see you. We're not reaching safety. We're walking into more contamination. Maybe it gets better further north. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe there is no safety. Maybe the whole atmosphere is contaminated. Maybe we're dying for nothing. She's right. I know she's right. The jet stream carries fallout globally. Arctic winds. There might be no safe zones anywhere. Just gradients of contamination. Just slower death versus faster death. Just choosing geography for your grave. Maybe, I admit. Probably. But we're trying. That's what you wanted. To try. We're trying. I'm glad we are, she says. Even if it fails. Even if we die. I'm glad we tried. I'm glad you came with me. I'm glad we're together. Me too. Silas and Vernon finish burying the infant. Small mound of rocks. No name. No way to identify. Just another anonymous death in anonymous wilderness. Another casualty of war that ended 5 months ago, but keeps killing. Another victim of fallout that doesn't stop. Doesn't slow. Doesn't care. We resume walking. 31 people. Minus 1 infant. 30 remaining. Walking north. Still walking. Still trying. Still dying. The radiation detector. 1,894 milliroentgens per hour. 21 milliroentgens increase during rest break. The levels keep climbing. Keep accelerating. Keep promising death. Tomorrow the manifest illness begins. Tomorrow everyone understands we failed. Tomorrow the walking stops, and the dying accelerates. But today we're still moving, still trying, still fighting, still human against inhuman disaster, still alive in dead world, still broadcasting even when no one listens. K7XJM Mobile. Price Nth. Somewhere in southern British Columbia. Day 11 of evacuation. 30 people remaining. Radiation 1,894 milliroentgens per hour. Manifest illness expected tomorrow. Survival probability 0. Will continue documentation as long as possible. The safe zones failed. The evacuation failed. The trying failed. But we tried. We walked. We fought. We refused to accept death sitting still. We chose motion. We chose effort. We chose trying even when mathematics promised failure. That's what this broadcast documents. Not success. Not survival. Not hope. Just effort. Just trying. Just humans refusing surrender, even when surrender is logical. Tomorrow we stop walking. Tomorrow manifest illness begins. Tomorrow everyone dies. But today we're still moving. Still broadcasting. Still documenting. Still trying. 1,897 milliroentgens per hour now. Still climbing. We keep walking anyway.